It's a bold face lie. It's barely past 10.
Is it really that early?
Yeah.
No shit.
It was fucking 10:05.
We kind of had a long day, though. We packed it in.
We just had a weird day of stuff. Like, we normally do a lot, and it seems like it flies. Today, we didn't do a whole hell of a lot, but we did it.
I don't know. I think we were productive, though. We
But it was
tore.
like a spurt here, a spurt there, a spurt here. Like, we did everything kind of in, like, jumps.
Yeah, but we tore pretty deeply into the skid steer.
Oh, yeah,
It just
for
didn't.
sure.
We just didn't. We found a problem. We didn't find the problem.
But
we've
I'm telling you,
troubleshooted
bro,
it much more now.
I'm telling you, pop a new battery in that bitch, and before you, like when you rip that old battery out, trace that ground wire,
Yeah.
that main
It's
body
solid.
ground.
There's 2 of them in
Make sure they're good.
Yeah.
Because if you have a bad ground, you'll just keep chasing yourself in circles.
Yeah.
And
You
then-
know what I hate on vehicle issues? Of all the issues you can have on vehicles, you know what I hate the most?
Electrical?
Fucking electrical issues.
Yeah, same.
It's the worst.
I don't understand how angry pixies work. I just know that they're supposed to, and when they don't, it's broke.
You know, I'm actually better with like DC with automotive electrical than I am like AC. Like that,
Well,
I
fuck
am.
that. Give me AC all day.
See, I'm a DC guy. Like I'm better with DC. I don't know why,
I hate trying to fucking deal with all the different things that go wrong.
but I still hate it. Yeah,
I like DC.
I like simple stuff like wiring up lights and stuff. Like it's real
I was
easy
just about to say
to.
the same thing, like wiring up 12-volt DC lights, like freaking even as simple as like a model train set, like
Mm-hmm.
especially if I installed it,
Yeah.
then I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited. Sean, you didn't hear me, but I was telling Adam earlier. I put those lights in those back corners of the rack.
Are we rolling?
We are actually. Yeah, I hit
That was
record.
good.
Oh, well,
This is a good time to tell this story.
I already fucking hit record, so I was sick of waiting on you guys.
Fuck it, we're doing it. Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Doing it live.
Fuck it, I'm doing it live. But yeah, I've got them almost done, like almost finished wiring. All I'm lacking is I forgot the male end of a plug set, so I've got the wiring. It's shielded like four strand, and like nice thick insulation on it. So I'm stoked. But I got it running from my little control box
Yeah.
for the switches back, and then I've got a 4-pin plug, like a nice 4-pin plug, so that if I take the rack off,
You can just unplug it.
I can just unplug it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the way to
And-
do it.
And they're the same lights that are they're under that bull bar on the bumper. They're the same ones, so they've got the amber side shooters, the main LED beams, and then I've got it can
Hazard
do
mode.
I can do the hazard flashers.
Like a highway.
So I'll have it. I'll have it. Yeah, I'll have it all the way around. So hey, if you're in whiteout conditions and shit, that's the thing to do to not get rear-ended or hit the guy in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Is add visibility in a whiteout condition.
Yeah.
I didn't specifically order those lights for that, but that's a feature on them, and it's got the wire. I'm not gonna not hook it up when I've got an extra button on the switch panel.
Yeah, no. You got it. Use it.
You never know when you're gonna roll up on an accident or something, and you're the first guy that can block traffic.
Yeah.
Well, and I noticed you mounted the Rotopack. You got that mounted on the side.
Yeah, it's not Rotopack brand. It's a different brand. I don't know what it is, but it had good reviews, and I like it pretty well so far.
Fuel, water, traction boards, shovel, jack. I mean, you're pretty well.
Yeah,
You're about as good as a first responder for a highway division anyway.
the next thing I need now is more training. And fucking honestly, that is one of the things for me. Like I've got a handy little, the jack of all trades, master of none. I've got a handy little set of skills, but there's always more to be had. Like I'm in a niche of like I'm not deep bushcrafter, but I can get a fire going. I've got my round camp and my woodsmanship skills on some level, but I've always felt deficient in my medical training. Like I've always wanted to take like a wilderness first responder or something because luckily I've been around you guys, which are a little bit more in that realm.
Well, yeah,
The training
and getting
is-
the training is huge, especially the medical side of it. But you had to think of you're going after training for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
So, like out in the woods, I would say probably 90% of your medical emergency stuff you could can that right out the window, because it's just you're never going to carry the supplies to be able to do anything to help.
Yeah.
But trauma, definitely verse yourself in trauma, how to create a makeshift splint, tourniquets.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've got
I've been meaning to add a tourniquet to a couple of my selections of gear.
yeah, I've got
my
I've got a couple
backpack.
I've got a couple that they'll work technically. Like they're not real great tourniquets.
Yeah,
You know,
but like
those little tiny afterthought ones that
Yeah, they got the little.
well, I've
3-inch
got one
twister
I've
bar.
got one pretty good tourniquet in I don't even know where I've got one stashed somewhere in like major trauma.
yeah,
I think it's around the house.
yeah,
It's one of those ones like a fucking giant zip tie,
yeah.
and it's got a little timer or something on it.
I-
But then I've got a rat tourniquet in the
Molly-
truck
on your
the-
molly panel,
Yeah, on
isn't
my
it?
molly
Yeah.
panel. So
yeah, I know.
that's a good spot to have one.
I know the cat tourniquets are pretty.
Yeah, they've kind of
they're-
taken.
Yeah, they've kind of cornered the market. Everybody I see
Yeah.
that's carrying a tourniquet is a cat.
Yeah, cat has become the preference.
Yeah,
For-
I don't want
for,
to
like, carry.
I don't want to say it's the go-to standard, but I mean when you see everybody, that's what they're carrying.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. But I mean, I've been meaning
I
to-
watched it shift because the rat like came out of nowhere and went up and it, like
Yeah. Well, and it's so weird. So like when I took my
like no, you really want a
EMT
cat."
my original EMT class in 2011, tourniquets were not part of my training, for New York State EMT. Like we discussed them, but like this is an absolute last case resort. Like don't use them; they're bad. 3 short years later, I did my refresher, and tourniquets are one of the first things you grab. Like you don't mess around with bleeding for long.
Yeah.
If you can't stop it by direct pressure, or you can't put like a pressure dressing on it,
Yeah.
tourniquet.
Make those veins
Don't.
smaller.
Don't waste your time. 'Cause-
Yeah.
And my instructor said it the best. Like, don't get hung up on bleeding. All bleeding stops eventually.
Sure does.
He's
Does
not
it run
wrong.
out of supply, or do you stop it? Either way, it eventually
yeah,
stops.
exactly. He's not wrong. But like, you need to stop major bleeds. But as far as classes to take, I would highly recommend everybody get their CPR.
Yep.
Because you can do that anywhere, and I mean, and that type of cardiac emergency can occur anywhere. I mean, just look at that NFL player last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm drawing a blank on his name, unfortunately.
Damar Hamlin.
That sounds right.
It
But
sounds right, but
That's
I'm
what's-
not.
we're the
sure.
worst three people
Yeah.
Sports guys.
following sports.
I checked the football scores. I don't really.
I don't even do that. Like, I generally know if the Bills are doing well or not via all the Bills fan
Yeah.
friends that I have.
Yeah, but I mean, what are the odds of that happening?
And I'll catch a game or two.
but I would bet a decent chunk of money that the only reason he's back in the condition he's in right now is how quickly CPR with the use of an AED. How quickly he got that help.
Yeah.
Another good thing to be well versed in is allergic reactions. Particularly anaphylaxis. I mean, unless you're going to carry around epi, which might be a little difficult for the average Joe to do.
We don't do it religiously, but we have access to EpiPens when we're around here.
Yeah, but
Dad kept them for stuff because he had a mystery allergy that we were trying to pin down at some point.
yeah, something like that's good to You know, maybe you can titrate it a little bit with Benadryl to help mitigate the issue, but you pretty much know you need help. Outside of that, unless you're going to start carrying around bottles of oxygen and a bunch of different medications and everything else like that, medically wise, there's not much you can do. Treat them with diesel. Get them to help fast. You know? Blaze a trail for first responders. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
trauma for sure.
Well, that's like I was showing you guys that bag that my buddy TJ gave me. One of the number one things that's in there is tourniquets and Celox pressure dressings, pre-treated Celox pressure dressings. And that's exactly what it is. Stop the bleed, and then, you know, you're not going to sit there in the woods and try to solve every problem. It's a matter of getting you in a condition where you can travel.
Yeah.
How fast?
Or get you stable enough to wait for help. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and emergency first responders, they will go where they need to go. It may take them 3 hours to get there, but they'll get there.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can, anything you can do to get yourself or whoever you're with closer to first responders, or get yourself or whoever you're with stable enough to be able to just hunker down and wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'd say that's huge. I'm terrible about it. My med kit lives in my car, which is never where I need it. I mean, let's be honest.
My med kit being in my truck's pretty good for me.
It's-
like my
it's-
truck's usually close.
My car is never where I need it to be. I mean, granted, my med kit's nothing more than what I refer to as an itchy, scratchy, ouchy, boo boo kit. Like it's got a couple.
Yeah.
It's got a couple of band-aids. It's got a crappy roll of tape that you'd be like, oh, I might be able to do something. It's got a bottle of Advil.
Yeah, that's kind of my like it's more of your
It's your
mobile
itchy,
ouchie boo boo.
Yeah, it's your itchy, scratchy, ouchie, boo boo kit. You know,
Like it does have a tourniquet and some trauma shears,
I don't even have that.
but otherwise it's pretty much itchy scratchy.
Yeah, but you know, like one of the
Like
things
your
I've been
little
thinking
single
about.
packs of sunscreen and
Yeah,
bug
yeah,
treatment and shit.
Yep, some IVX. So if you run into some poison ivy and figure out right then and there that you have a reaction to
A
it.
selection of medications that we may like my family like with Excedrin and stuff. I think I threw Motrin or whatever the fuck you told me you take in there.
You know, but
Like if I know somebody uses it, I'll put it in there.
yeah, one of the biggest things I need to do, I need to get a medical kit into my hunting pack.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a small one.
I mean, especially 'cause, like last year is one of the first times in my hunting career that I did almost the entire season solo.
Yeah.
You know, if something had happened to me, yeah, I had phenomenal cell service, which is good. But if something had happened to me, I had nothing to do except to just lay there
Yeah.
and wait.
Well, and you were, last year hunting my property, you were unfamiliar ground, unfamiliar terrain.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Cell services,
That
it's
was
there,
spotty.
but it's questionable.
yeah. It was if the wind blows.
Yeah, you're out in the sticks. And yeah, that to a good point. I mean, like Eli, you've got the one that you keep in the side by side there. I keep thinking about
Yeah.
that. I need to do that for my family's side by side that we use for hunting.
Yeah, that works awesome. I grabbed the kit. It was for I had an extra kit when I was moving around between vehicles, you know, like when I had the Xterra and the 2500 both on the road for a short period of time. When I took the Xterra off the road finally, like I kind of took the med kit out of it and I strapped it in on the headache rack there. And Dad came along at some point and put magnets on it so it magnets to the ceiling, like those little magnetic mounts.
Yeah,
That works great. It's out of the way and it's always there.
Well, and if with my family, if you're hunting on our property, there's always at least that's close.
Mm-hmm.
A lot better than trying to go quarter mile to the house.
Yeah.
Ain't doing that in the woods if you're really hurt.
it was weird. It's just such a short distance, but walking up on that property, it felt like miles. I could not imagine doing that if I was experiencing a medical emergency or if like I broke my foot. You're like, all right, we just got to get back to the house. I'm like, yeah, okay. just shoot me now.
Yeah. Better hope there's snow and it's a toboggan. At least it's downhill, but it wouldn't be a fun downhill.
Sometimes downhill's worse than uphill, man.
Try to keep your balance.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you got really good footing going down more so than coming up.
I'm pretty good at sliding down hills. Dude, around here, this valley,
Yeah, I could see you.
it's steep enough, dude. I take shortcut now and then.
I could see that.
Slide down a hill.
Just straight to your stomach and just
When it's-
penguin slide that.
Nah, I'll butt slide. Slide on my butt. I got my rifle. It's hunting season when I'm doing that shit. There's a lot of snow on the ground. I'm on the wrong
You gotta
trail.
understand the mental
I'm
image.
sliding down on my butt.
You gotta understand the picture running through my mind right now. Is you?
I do it safely. Go fuck yourself.
Is you? Your finally completed matching set of First Light blaze orange camo coming down the hill on your chest.
Woo!
I'm imagining the Mario
Prone
slide.
position. So he's
fuck
already
no.
got the gun up and just prone position down into that main field and just bang, bang. It's like something out of Rainbow Six, man.
Say that or G.I. Joe, man.
They did that. Not real life.
Yeah.
Bum shuffle. That's what you're gonna see me doing. If you catch me in the woods sliding down from tree limb to tree limb, you're gonna see me bum shuffling and hooking them with my arm.
No, I do that myself. But when you first said I slide down the hills during hunting season, that's all I could picture is you just
Tactical toboggan.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like unfold one out of my backpack and go.
not even not tactical toboggan, just tactical penguin slide, man. Just
Do I have a garbage bag? It's like an orange game bag. You get an orange game bag and just cut a head hole.
sure, man. It's your fantasy. You can have whatever you want.
That's kind of yours, I think.
Maybe fantasy's the wrong word. As soon as you said it was mine, that got weird.
I know how to stop him now.
Penguins, man. It'll get them.
Penguins.
Oh boy.
But we got Luffy's gun sighted in for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a time. I mean, was it 3 weeks ago we started that? You started that chat, and it was just like at first
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was simply to be.
Yeah, just checking in on you guys to see who was going to be hunting the property this year for as far as DMAP tag allocation.
Wait. He took his hunter safety, bought a gun, and got everything needed to go in 3 weeks' time.
Yep.
He's got to buy a PA license, but he's got the DMAP coupon to get him a doe tag for this property if he goes and gets his license.
Talking about somebody with ambition. Holy crap.
Dude, I'm so
That
proud
is-
of him. It's
That
fucking
is
awesome.
Insane. Like,
I posted the gun.
I'm excited. Like he wants to come learn here, and that gives me a little bit of like mentor pull, I guess. And I'm so excited to be able to hopefully get him on some deer.
oh, I had a blast today. Like, to try and teach him how to clean his gun afterwards. Because obviously it's first gun. He's
Yeah.
just getting hunted. He has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah,
I had a-
he's
I had a
picking
blast
it. He's
teaching him.
picking it right up though. He's doing great.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I posted that gun, the link to that gun that he purchased, and it was just it wasn't even so much of a like go buy this as much as it was like
Here's a good option.
here's a recommendation of what I'm talking about for
Yeah.
a good gun.
Yeah.
He was side messaging me a
And-
bunch on like caliber questions. And I was like, yeah, this and that, like whatever the questions
Oh,
were.
so what you
But-
mean to tell me is he was side chatting you about caliber questions, and then you were taking that same question and forwarding it on over to Sean there.
No,
Because that's usually how that goes.
no, he was just
For
he was
once it
just like
wasn't.
no, he was just like fact checking things that he was hearing from coworkers and shit.
That's always a very wise choice because some people are just so set in their ways,
Yeah,
and other
so he's
people,
like-
other people have no idea what they're
Yeah,
talking
like-
about.
Yeah. Well,
Because we were like 308 or something like that. Like Sean recommended against a 243 because he thinks it's small, and which I can't. I mean, it was my first rifle and it was fine. It was great, but nowadays, like, yeah, it's probably not the starter gun I would put an adult into.
Yeah. I mean, is it lethal to take a deer? Obviously.
Obviously,
Do you need to be more accurate with your shot placement? Yeah.
yeah.
Is it like the preferred cartridge for whitetail? No.
no.
It'll work.
And a lot of people, but there's a lot of fan favoritism for like a 270 around here. So he had a lot of people pushing that on him, and we're like, yeah, it's not really
I made my
for
pitch.
what you're doing. I think
Yep.
for what he's doing, I think 308's great.
The 308's a great caliber.
Oh, and it's
7mm 08 would have been great too.
It's very forgiving. It is a very forgiving
Yeah.
caliber.
And I would have pushed him to 7mm 08. The only reason I really pushed a 308 over a 7mm this time around, he's a full-grown adult. He's got enough experience now he can handle some recoil, and you're not paying $5 a round. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
It's just availability-wise. You know, a guy like that that's so excited, he's not just going to hunt. He's going to want to shoot.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to scare him by telling him a box is $50.
Yeah, dude, he enjoyed shooting. I was really glad we were able to do a nice little.
Could you imagine if you had to buy the
range
same box
day-to-day.
last year?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was checking ammo prices, and I want to say up by me in Rochester, a box of 270 was right around like $25 for 20 rounds. It was just over $1 a round. Which normally I'd be like, holy crap, that is mad expensive. Last year I had no ammunition, so I had to buy it off Gunbroker.
Mm-hmm.
2 boxes of 20 cost me $99.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think paying $25 for a box of 20 is all that bad anymore.
Yeah.
So I couldn't imagine if he got into, like you're saying, that 7mm 08.
It's still $45 a box right now for 20.
Yeah.
Is that what it was
That's what
last
Steph.
year?
That's
No,
what Steph
last
hunts
year, if you
with.
could even find it, that was a miracle.
Well, that's,
You can get it from Federal, but it was like fucking even more.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, could you imagine if he was getting into this stuff last year when the ammo shortages and the prices were just absolutely outrageous?
I still can't believe
can
I
get
was in a
cost
store.
prohibitive.
I was in a store the other day, so going. You bought that box of steel shot last year for duck hunting and paid $75 a box
Yeah.
of 25 shells. I thought that was the most absurd thing I ever heard. I walked into a store the other week, just a couple weeks ago. $75 a box again. I swear, at duck season, stuff gets so rare. People are just
Yeah. Part of me wonders if that's because it's growing in popularity again. Like, if more people are getting into the shooting sports, which, I mean,
Yeah.
when COVID happened, that was pretty evident, at least up by where I'm from. Like, the gun stores couldn't keep anything in stock.
Yeah.
Guns, ammo, nothing. You know, so
Yeah.
like,
I
it
think
sucks
waterfowl
for me.
specifically is getting more popular.
I think so too.
I've been hearing more and more about it. Like it flashed through like Meat Eater. Like we had gotten season under us and we were like trying to figure our shit out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was like weird timing that just as we were doing it, Meat Eater and fucking
yeah.
and like it was Meat Eater and like their little
JP
networks.
Boudreaux
Like,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
The dude from
Yeah.
the south there.
You know, which
Duck camp dinners, and then they had Sean Weaver on for a minute doing duck reports and some side gig there.
Yeah, they just put out another one not
Did
too
they?
long ago. It might have even been a second season of the Duck Camp Dinners or a follow on.
Yeah.
I listened to the whole thing, and then that podcast that you sent out last week to us.
Oh, the Black Duck Revival.
Black Duck Revival.
Yeah, I heard about him through Bo Martonic from East Meets West podcast.
Mm.
He had him on because they were one of their like sponsors, if you will. Like somebody, a company they both work with was doing some like photo shoot shit, and they sat down and did a podcast together. So I listened to that dude. And I'm like, I like what he's speaking, so I tuned into a few of his podcasts for a while.
nice.
Cool dude.
Yeah, you sent that out and got me.
Yeah,
on
it was that episode where he was interviewing that old timer about the way they used to do it.
Well, I don't even know
It
if
was
I started
awesome.
on the episode that you did. I looked at it and was like, that's cool. I started on episode 1, and
Oh, did you?
I've listened to I think I'm like through 5 or 6 episodes through this week of work.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can enjoy listening to this. This is, it's nice. And it's not necessarily as much like Meat Eater where it's a lot of talking about hunt specific. He's
Yeah.
talking about industry wide. I think it was episode 1 or 2. He had this guy that's been making custom calls. And it started out, it was kind of just more of, he was doing it fun, and then all of a sudden he stumbled upon a design that worked, and it was great, and then
Yeah.
the competition callers picked it up.
Yeah. That one I listened to, that old timer he was interviewing had like done it all by hand, like because that's how he was taught.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't buy other people's calls. He made his own. He carved his own decoys, the whole 9.
And you see those now, dude. Those wooden decoys that guys have carved that are 60-something years old or older.
Mm-hmm.
They're like pure gold. Those between decoration and just the pure nostalgia for even like guys our age looking,
Yeah.
But
Well, they're
not
just
to,
cool.
not to mention the fact that they work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
They work, and it's a beautiful piece of craftsmanship.
What blows my mind is how did they find the time, but I can't find the time to do anything.
No internet, bro.
We
We pack our brains with so
Oh,
many
that-
useless facts in a given day that
I've been pretty bad this week for
floats in. Our brains are just fuller of useless knowledge because of
Well,
the
for-
access to it.
for a month. I got rid of Facebook. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't delete it or take it off my phone or anything, but I took it off like my quick access panel.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was so nice. It
Yeah.
was so nice.
finding the open time.
Well, even like weekends like this where you barely touch it is so fucking nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love weekends like this, man.
Find like Sunday night, just like if you go and look at your phone, you just like sink into this rabbit hole of like all this shit again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is,
You should like stay away from it longer.
So disconnecting down here when I get here and I literally just throw my phone in the truck, man. Like, think about it. How many days now can you count where you're like, I haven't touched my phone in 48, 72 hours?
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty rare that you can do that. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that extenuating circumstances, I had to touch base with home just to make sure everything's good on that front. I'd have left my phone in my car.
Yeah, I mean,
There would have been no phone calls home. There would have been nothing.
but how awesome is that in this day and age to finally have a spot where you can really just, yeah, like I know that if I was really in a bind or something was really wrong, I could be reached, but I'm not checking Facebook. I'm not checking, on Instagram posts, Snapchat, nothing. You're just you're out there living just normal.
Yeah.
Holy heck.
I do like it up here.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, when the Mega Millions was over $1 billion, I can tell you that if I won, I'd have moved your neighbors off their property. I love.
All right.
Yeah,
Twist your arm, right?
Yeah, I got some places for you to aim. Like,
As long as I can get from my
I can-
property to your property
I'll
via
direct
side
you.
by side,
I'll
that's fine.
direct your money a couple places. You make a recommendation.
You struggling with the taxes here? I'll buy a good chunk of acreage off you. I don't care.
if I go from low teens to having billions of dollars, I'm buying a lot of stuff, and most of it's land.
We got to figure. You win the lottery, you're not going to see $1 billion. What was the jackpot cash takeout? Was like $750 million. Let's just say taxes takes 50% of that. You're still left with, what was it, $375 million.
Yeah.
Even if you put half of that into savings and invested it and never touched it again for the rest of your life, you are still left with fuck around money.
Oh God, yeah. You're still
Like that is fuck you money.
190K.
Especially around here.
I mean, it doesn't really matter where you live. That's fuck you money.
Mm-hmm.
down here, that's fuck you money for a long time. California, not so long.
Right. Yeah, it's fuck you money one time.
Yes.
But that's still, that is so much money. Man,
And that's after charitable
If you're
donations.
smart, that's fuck you money one time. If you're not smart, it's fuck you
I
money
still got
two
the other
times.
50% in the bank.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is I can do whatever I want and get away with it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having that
Like,
much money?
fuck it. I'll still, I'm still paying the bills off the other half. Dump it.
No, I couldn't imagine
On
having that
something.
much
Yeah.
that much money because my first thought, everybody's like, "Oh, if I won that, you'd never see my fat ass again." I'm like, "Well, you'd see mine because it'd take a while for it to set in that I have that much money, so I'd still be going to work."
Oh yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
going to work, but my level of give a fuck and my level of like I have to behave and
Fair.
be normal. I'd tell you the
Yeah.
straight and honest truth, and it doesn't matter if
Yeah.
it hurts my company, benefits me, nothing. Here's the truth, and here's the honest truth. You don't like it, I
Right.
don't need to be here. If I had that much money,
I know.
Fire me. I'm just sorting through the paperwork and getting shit invested where it needs to be.
I'm just
Just fucking fire me if you don't like what I have to say right in this instance. I'm
right. Then like part of me is
I'm practically doing this pro bono.
Then like the other part is like, well, I'm a 4th-year apprentice. I'm like, do I finish the apprenticeship and become a journeyman? Like I've already dedicated a lot of time to this.
Oh,
shits
we
and
being able to
giggles,
say
yes.
I was. Yeah.
like I might as well finish it, get
Yeah.
the card, then we'll just the dues
like-
are like
it's like
$35
having a
a
couple
month.
credit.
We'll just pay the dues every month so I can be a member in good standing, and
Yeah.
we'll just ride that out.
I'd show up with like $200 cups of coffee to every class for the rest of that year.
$200 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
Kiss my white lily ass.
Oh man, I'd be sitting there, I'd be like, "Yep, I'm here for this, and I'm gonna enjoy this. Everybody else
Yeah.
can be
See,
mad
that's-
and miserable."
That's where I like my lifestyle would change, like because you'd spend extra money. Like I'd have a thermal scope, I'd have a nice one.
You mean
Have a
not the
couple.
Wish 2.0?
I'd have a real good coyote set up, and I'd be going out seeing if Kale will let me in on some of his spots.
Hell, you'd be leasing property everywhere. You'd be getting guides
Well, of course
brought
he'd
in.
let you onto all of his prime spots. That's where paid guides take their clients.
I am thankful he's taking me out and taking you, Sean, and Luffy came with us.
Yeah, dude, that
I was so mad I couldn't make it today because I've never been coyote hunting, but it's kind of one of those things. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing it because
I've been very terribly and mediocrely before Kale showed me his setup. Just
Yeah.
like flashlight status, you know what I mean? Just like
the way
good-
he does it.
like
is
we
just-
had red lights and calls, but
Now-
we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
now when he took the shot at that coyote, could he tell it was a coyote?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, you can see.
Oh, okay.
you can tell.
Because my only experience,
You can tell by the way they move, and you can tell by like the shape of them. You have a really nice silhouette.
yeah.
Okay.
His thermal is so tight. When you're looking at a deer, if it has antlers, you can count the points on the antlers. You can see how tall they're. Like you're not looking through a scope where you're seeing, like movie thermal blobs.
well, the reason I have to ask is because my only other experience with coyote hunters is guys like, well, it's walking like a coyote, and the eyes are reflecting like a coyote. It's got to be a coyote, and they get up there, and it's a buck. At night, out of deer season.
Yeah, that's
they're
not
like-
how this is.
They're like, it's time to go. Like, we got to go.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like-
not how this is.
I'm like-
Although there was over here in this field, we were looking and we were watching, and we thought we'd walked up the field,
Yeah.
right? So I thought we were up high enough that we were seeing into the majority of the fold, like the bench that was there,
Yeah.
along that.
Yeah.
And I picked out two little heat signatures that were small, but they
And I was
weren't.
staring at them for the longest time through Kale's scope. I'm like, what the fuck are those? I don't know what they are. It was like two rabbits or two woodchucks or something. It was like the middle of the night. And it's just like, what the fuck that is? And then eventually, after Kale had called some,
He hit a coyote call, and
they went
sprung
uphill. It was that freaking heads. It was like just the ears and the tops of the heads of two fucking doe.
Yeah, imagine if
We were
that's
just
all
looking
you
at
could,
the throats.
I imagine if that's all you could see, you could confuse that for a rabbit or something. Like,
Oh,
What
dude,
in the
you
fuck?
couldn't even see like the bottom of the jaw. Like, you could see from her, maybe the top of her nose. Like you were just seeing like the eye sockets and the top of the skull
She was
cap.
just
Like there was.
Yeah.
just barely high enough over that
Yeah.
bench for
I'm
you
like,
to just see the
what
top
in the
of her head.
flying fuck
She was ninja.
is over there?
Although I will tell you, I got into my deer stand last year, and it was one of the rare times I had gotten into my stand when I wanted to. So like I had a good hour of darkness before I could even think about shooting light, which is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
If I fall asleep, it's not the end of the world. I can let the woods get back to accustomed after all the noise I make, because I don't go stealth. I just like a bulldozer. I just want to get there, get set up, let the woods go back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found out like 30 seconds after I sat down into my stand that there was a coyote under it. You want to talk about terrifying. Because it's so dark you can't see your hand a quarter inch off your nose.
Mm-hmm.
But I can hear this thing just trying to find me. And I'm like, I mean, I got a flashlight.
Yeah. Usually, if you.
But trying to hold a flashlight with a long gun is nothing I have practiced.
Nor underneath you.
Well, yeah, and taking a shot that's almost vertical. I'm like, just go away.
Yeah.
Just go away.
I'd much
Like,
appreciate.
please do not learn that if you put enough effort in, you can climb. You too can climb a ladder. Like,
I think you still have the advantage there. It gets to the top of the ladder. I got money on you that you're gonna win that fight, one way or another.
Yeah, with that adrenaline, man, I don't think I really want to have that puddle in my pants.
Just kidding.
forget the pants. I can buy new pants. I didn't feel like wrestling with whatever it was. Then, of course, it sets in because, like I said, I sat down and I heard it almost immediately underneath me. I'm like, that thing could not have been more than yards, single-digit yards away from me as I was coming in.
Probably.
Or he just picked up your scent, and he could. I mean, he would have been catching up to you. If he caught your scent
me,
and followed you in,
he
yeah.
caught up to me pretty quick. And I
That's-
understand people aren't typical prey for a coyote, especially one that seems to be like roaming alone.
Curious.
But-
Curious young male, probably.
You know,
Yeah.
but anything gets hungry enough, you start taking a lot more risks.
He was rabid.
I'd have thought that if I saw it in the daytime.
That's a goofy behavior to come in like that
Yeah.
It was pretty unsettling, I'll tell you that much.
on you. Yeah.
And it stuck around for a long time. I mean, to the point, like I said, I had a good hour before it even started getting light. And it started getting light. I could see it, like, see its silhouette moving around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
If you still hear it legal light, I'm
I'm like, all right.
blast him.
All right, I'm over my panic attack because this thing's here. I'm like, now I got to pull out my phone to see if coyote's still in season, if I can shoot it right now, because if this thing's running around, I'm never going to see a deer.
Coyote is pretty much open in Pennsylvania.
I don't think you guys even have. I was looking it up the other day. I don't even think you have a season.
I think it's open season. There may be a few restrictions. There may be a couple of restrictions, like specific days that are openers for other seasons or something.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
possible.
I want to say on this particular day, it was open.
Yeah.
And in New York, you can hunt them day or night.
Yeah, you can hunt them day or night here too.
So,
I meant for legal deer because that's why you were there.
yeah.
It's like if he's still there at legal deer light, then you're not gonna see a deer anyway. So you might as well.
Might as well shoot them.
Yeah.
If he's running around stinking the place up.
Yeah.
Worst I ever had is I had one. I was turkey hunting with my dad in the spring, and I had one come up. We were sitting on a ridge between two gorges. Had one pop up right on the ridge behind us. Came right down through the gully, popped right up. Turned around. That's a coyote. Oh boy. He thought he found turkeys at lunch. We both had a nice heart attack. Coyote took off, and we were just, oh boy.
Nick and I had a couple come in real close at when the fire pit was way over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think we had a party, like several people around a bonfire, but it was the end of the night. It was just like him and me sitting around the fire. Everybody else left.
Yeah.
And the fire's going, low to out. And we're finally deciding to make our way, and motherfuckers were circling in. They
I
started.
just want to go home.
Yeah, I don't know if they got a rabbit or something, but we were right in the mix.
Yeah.
We were right in the mix. They were howling, hollering, whatever, on either, like, right around the semicircle between the road and here.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. We were right in this.
I gotta say, last night when the first coyotes that we saw up on the hill there, I would have thought they were sub 200 yards, and then when Cal ranged them and said they were like 280, I was like, man, that's so deceiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a whole nother aspect. Is trying to learn to range find at night.
Oh, and even through a
Yeah.
thermal, like you think you know how far you're looking, and then
Yeah.
Kale has a rangefinder on
Kale's
his.
has a rangefinder. Otherwise, you just kind of have to have a pretty good sense of where shadowy things are at a distance, like when
Yeah.
you're looking at the naked eye.
Yeah.
But the other thing you have to account for when you're using thermals and night vision is the
refresh rate.
the night blindness you get in the eye you've been using for your thermals. It wasn't that bad last night because it was like so much moon.
Kind of
bright.
like tonight.
It was
Yeah.
even worse.
Oh, I bet.
It was bright.
It was like standing in,
Like-
in a regular lit room. Like it
And
wasn't.
it was a really slow wind.
Yeah.
yeah.
So those are both like kind of checks to the negative for coyotes
Yeah.
from what Kale and RJ were telling
No,
us.
that makes sense. If there's not a lot of wind, there's nothing for them to pick up a scent on or to
Right.
even hear the calls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I was mentioning too is you got to remember when you're looking through a scope like that, it's an electronic. There's a delay. It's not true real time thermal imaging. It's a eighth to a 16th of a second behind real time.
Yeah.
Cal was saying, he's like, I've shot in front of coyotes that I thought I was in front of them, and he goes, I'm sure it was refresh rate. I was really shooting behind them. Like I can see how that would mess you up.
Yeah, that's got to
real
be a
bad.
little. That's got to be a little goofy.
Yeah.
And then the fog last night
Yeah.
was really messing. That's probably a good chunk of the reason why the one that Cal did shoot at and he missed.
Yeah. Those hounds are mad now, boy.
Something's down there wild.
Yeah.
We're getting them all wound up.
They weren't even that bad when we were coyote hunting.
No, they were quiet last night.
Toby's guard dogs weren't. They're barking the whole time. He's got Great Pyrenees like I
Oh
had.
yeah.
Yeah, they were not thrilled that we were making
Yeah, they were
coyote
not
noises right
enthused.
behind the barn.
And then that camp was in, which we didn't realize.
Yeah. Sure, they just thought the coyotes were going
Uncle
nuts.
Joe said he must have come in late.
I was trying to think about that. He may have came in behind me, but ahead of Cal and RJ.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to think about that after we said that. It's like I swear, maybe there was a second vehicle that came flying down the road. I couldn't remember for sure.
I don't know, all the places that I've deer hunted, I find it enjoyable when neighbors or the landowner has dogs that go ballistic for anything that moves. It's usually a good early warning system that deer are coming your way.
Fair enough.
Like that dog I got at my uncle's property a couple years ago. The neighbor's dogs just started going ballistic, and I'm like, oh, that's a little weird. Like, they've been quiet all morning. I look over if there isn't like 6 doe coming down the hill directly
Making their way
behind that
through.
house. I'm like,
Nice.
well, if you're gonna make a mental note of that, when those dogs go ballistic, pay attention
Yeah.
in that direction. And there's several times those dogs would start going nuts. I look over and there's deer coming down, and it's like, all right.
Yeah.
But they never turned to come onto the property I was hunting on. I'm like, well, that's a bummer.
Right.
There's nothing I can do about it.
They got a preferred path sorted out already, and it doesn't involve you.
At least not that particular time of day.
Right.
I mean, they prefer the paths that my uncle cut into his property because you can't step in his path network without stepping on deer prints.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that heavily traveled. The problem is, I think they're traveling it at night.
May very well be.
And a lot of he's got a trail cam. A lot of his trail cam photos show him coming through in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So you're trying to catch them real first thing early morning or, minutes before the end of hunting light.
Mm-hmm. Sean's got the firebug.
Yep.
Oh, need to wake it up a little. About ready to go sit closer to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm actually close enough I can get just a hair of the heat.
I'm not. I'm on the backside of this big wood spool.
Sucker.
What do you think? We're done with this?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say we call her.
Yeah.
Call her here.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. You can also keep up to date by following us on our social media at Fraternal Outdoors on all platforms. And we love to see what you're doing in the outdoors as well, so please use the hashtag Fraternal Outdoors on your content so we can follow along. All the best in your outdoor pursuits, and catch you next time.